It's past 10 o'clock, so I'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. This is a regular Commissioners Court meeting for County of Starr, September 11th. I'd like the record to show that we do have quorum, everyone being present. If everyone would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If I may, I'm going to ask for a moment of silence in remembrance of 9/11, so if everyone would just please bow your head. Okay, thank you. First item is approval of minutes.
Your Honor, I make motion to approve minutes.
Second motion.
Moved and second to approve. Discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is claims. Mr. Carter?
All the claims are in order, Judge.
I move that we approve the claims as presented, Your Honor.
Moved and second to approve. Discussion?
Yeah, Mr. Carter, how many claims do we have pending in your office that have not gone out to, or been presented here, or still pending out there? This PO that we're gonna approve means that all the POs are gone, or you still got some more, give or take?
In my office, I've got about a week's.
Okay.
The ones that came in last week is what I
How
have.
about in your office, Mr. Carter?
My office, very few,
Very few.
yes.
So everything has gone out, and these POs will be paid within, say, a week or two?
The claims that are presented on this list,
Yeah.
paid by Friday.
That's right?
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Any other question, comment?
Motion.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. If I may, I know there's some people here that I'm sure have other business to attend to. I'd like to skip to item number 19, and that's the introduction of Rio Bravo Wind Project by Long Road Energy. If you would please introduce yourself for the record, please.
Hello, Judge and Commissioners. My name is Brian Harris, and I'm with Long Road Energy. Grateful for the opportunity to present before you today. We'd like to introduce our company, ourselves, and our project to the county. I have a few handouts. Can I pass those out to you?
Sure.
I have a few representatives from my company and consultants. So Ryan Hartleben is here with us with Long Road. He is our construction manager. If and when we build our project, he will be the on-site construction manager. I have Jerry Harris here with us. He's an attorney with the law firm of Hush Blackwell out of Austin. They're our local attorneys and helping with the development of the project, and also he's understanding of the tax abatement process. So he's here to answer any questions if they come up. Jeff Neves is here with Amshore, and then we have quite a few of the property owners in our project here as well. You probably know them. So first of all, thank you for this opportunity. I'm from Utah, and before I started working in renewable energy, I was actually the commissioner's assistant for the county commission in Utah, for Beaver County, Utah, for 10 years. And so I saw all that the county commissioners have to deal with. So thank you for your service and everything that you have to put up with. My company, I'd like to start out just giving you some background about our company. So the company's named Long Road Energy. We've actually only been in business for about a year, but there's about 35 employees at our company now. Most of us have actually worked together for the last 10 years at a couple different companies. The first one was a company named First Wind, where we worked together for eight or 9 years, doing multiple wind and solar projects around the country. And then we worked for a company called Sun Edison, and then we left and went on our own, and now we're doing the same thing, the same group of people. If you look at the presentation, just on page 2, it talks a little bit about our history of what we've done. So since our team's been working together since 2008, we've developed, financed, and constructed 33 utility wind and solar projects around the country totaling 3,300 megawatts. We've successfully raised over $15 billion in capital to finance those projects. We've entered into an agreement with some financial backers. I'll talk about them in a second. We also purchased 3 gigawatts of solar here in Texas and around the country. We teamed up with a company named 7X Energy. They're based in Austin as well. And then we also purchased 600 megawatts of production tax credit turbines. So that's a little bit about the background. When this company was started by our 4 founders, one of the first things that we needed to do in order to have a real company is we needed some backers, financial backers. So if you look on page 3, there's actually 2 companies that invested in our company. One is called Infratil. It's a public company based in New Zealand that invests in infrastructure and energy. And then the other backer is the New Zealand Superannuation Fund. They're actually a sovereign wealth fund of the country of New Zealand. So that's where our financial backing comes from, because as you know, these projects are highly capital intensive and they take a lot of money. So that if you look on page 4, this just shows a map of those 33 projects where we've developed them around the country. And if you have any questions, feel free to stop me and ask any questions. But we started out developing projects in the northeastern part of the country, developed a lot of wind projects there. And in Hawaii, we did wind and solar projects there. Where I'm based in Utah, we were pretty successful in doing a couple wind projects and a lot of solar projects. And then we were successful in constructing 3 wind projects in the panhandle of Texas. Turn over the next page, there's a little more detail about what we've been doing in Texas. This shows the 3 operating wind projects that we constructed at First Wind and Sun Edison. Then it shows some of our other projects we're working on. We're doing some solar projects in West Texas, and we have additional wind and solar projects around the state. And we're really focused on the project here in Starr County, which we call the Rio Bravo wind project as well. To give you a little more detail about that project, if you'll flip over to page 6, shows a map of Starr County and where our project's located. The project's located on about 25,000 acres, which we have long-term easements in place with the property owners there. We actually purchased this project just recently. We purchased it from a company named Vestas. Vestas is a Danish-based company. They manufacture wind turbines, one of the largest in the world. We started talking to them February timeframe about purchasing this project, and we closed on that just a couple months ago. So we actually purchased it from them, so they did a lot of the work before we became involved. But the project is making some good progress on the development. It has a signed interconnection agreement with AEP. We've been working on the design. It's going to be 66 3.6 megawatt machines, so these are very big machines. I think they'll be the biggest machines in Texas when they go in. Obviously, everybody else will do that as well because they just keep getting bigger and bigger, but these will be big machines. We've been collecting wind data for about 3 years on the site. We've selected a general contractor for the project, and if we can keep the project on schedule, which we're hoping to do, we'd start early 2018 and finish in 2018. That's our schedule. The next page just shows a little more detail of our timeline. Some of the work that we're doing, I mentioned a lot of this, but We're actually out, we've been clearing some of the land in order to do some geotech work, so we can actually design the foundations. And there's a lot going on, but if we can keep things going, as I mentioned before, we will be able to complete the project by the end of next year.
I got a question.
You bet.
This land you're planning to build on, isn't that the one that Duke Energy had already leased to build?
Yes, my understanding is Duke Energy originally had this project, and then they sold it to Vestas.
Yeah. Well, that's what I thought it was. To me, to be honest with you, this project is still Duke Energy. Change of names in paperwork, but to me, in my opinion, Duke Energy is still the owner on the backside of this project, with all due respect. Because you started about a year ago. There was no way possible that you could lease all those acres with these people to make a contract on that. That's all I gotta say.
Well, I think you are correct that Duke did own the project when the leases were signed.
That's for the Commissioner's Court information, I'll just let you know that that's what it is.
But I would add to that I've never worked with Duke and the Long Road team.
No, I understand,
We
I
didn't-
understand.
We bought the project from Vestas, not from Duke. So, anyway, just clarify. We have, the next couple pages, we have some quick facts about the project, about the height. 568-foot height turbines. You can read through those. But really, I'd like to skip over to slide 10, which is really just some detail about the benefits that this project would bring to Starr County. First of all, the project would help in diversifying the tax base, as other projects have. It's a large project. It's not a project that's large enough that's going to change everything in Starr County. It's not going to solve everything in Starr County, but it will contribute to the tax base of Starr County in a significant way. We're not coming in here saying that we're going to be able to, help tremendously, but it will be a good project for the county. It's as you all know, wind power, solar power, clean, non-polluting power, diversifies the county's power supply. Also, during the construction of the project, there will be some significant number of good paying jobs. We realize that oftentimes, when we move into a county, everybody hopes that everybody that's local will get hired. That's not always the case. And we don't know exactly how many local people we'd be able to hire, but what we can commit to and what we promise to do and what we've done in previous projects is we will have 2 job fairs with our general contractor, and we will advertise those and do everything we can to get as many people that are qualified to work on the construction of the project as we can. We do commit to that. We realize that a lot of people come in, there are some specialized jobs, but we will try by having job fairs locally to hire as many people as we can. And we realize that doesn't turn into hundreds of people. It's in the handful.
What
but
would
we do
the
try.
qualifications be? You said qualified. In what manners? Qualified like?
Well, it depends on the job. I'll actually ask Ryan if he'd kind of stand up and say what type of jobs there are.
Yeah, these job fairs will Hi, my name is Ryan Hart, living with Long Road. At these job fairs, we're usually looking for operators, a certain handful of people with commercial driver's license and heavy machinery experience, as well as some laborers too. The majority of workers on these projects are iron workers by trade, and so a lot of those guys are traveling individuals, but anybody in the community that fits that skill set is obviously mutually beneficial for us to have working, as well as the local economy and
Thank you.
personnel. So.
Let me ask you something. How many jobs are you planning to create?
Long term,
Full-time, long-term?
Well, either for part-time or full-time? Well, I mean,
Well, so, construction jobs, it's gonna last just
A
a
year.
year, and there's, 120 to 150, something like that.
Yeah, we usually have somewhere around the 100 to 200 range of active construction workers daily on the project. It fluctuates depending on kind of the schedule and overlap.
Because based on last time, on the Duke promises, he said he will hire 400 or 500 jobs while in construction. I don't think we completed 50. Permanent jobs, I haven't seen that.
Permanent jobs, this project would have about 10 permanent.
That's what they go, 10 permanent jobs. But the construction, he promised, and we had a job fair where 900 people, 900 showed up looking for a job. They asked the Commissioner's Court to submit the names of people that we would like for them to hire, people that wanted to in the community. I'm talking about my precinct, the people I represent. I gave him one name and held them back for 3 weeks. He wasn't even called, with CDL license to operate or anything kind of equipment. He was qualified for that.
No, I think.
So,
I
out of
think you're down
Duke,
to-
we didn't get nothing, zero. And they took out with about $8 million in abatement of taxes.
Yeah, I think this would be about over 100 construction jobs. And, a lot of those would be coming in because they're specialized in building wind projects, but it's hard to say a number, but we would hope that at least, I don't know, a handful of those would be local.
So actually, like I said, based like what we did with Duke, we gave him about $8 million in tax abatement. They say we got 20, 30 jobs out of the whole project. But they promised, they promised the stars of the moon and part of the sky.
Well, Commissioner Garza,
And I understand you can make your presentation. I'm just letting you know.
No, I understand.
Already, we've gone through this Commissioner's Court, and apparently the guy that put this up on the agenda is the one that was representing Duke. Like he just got some guy Peña, George or what?
Robert.
Robert Peña. You're familiar with him?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
we were the one
he's
that
a,
first-
so my understanding, he is a consultant. He was a consultant for the
He's
Duke
your
project.
consultant?
And he has been, we hired him to be a consultant for this project as
well.
well. But,
He did pretty good job the first time. I don't know if he's gonna do this.
well, Commissioner Garza, I do understand your concern, and I don't know
And I
the details of
appreciate
what
that.
happened with Duke, but I can say, one of our founding principles of our company for the last 10 years has been to make and honor commitments. And I can't speak for Duke, but I can speak for Long Road in that when we make a commitment, we honor it. And that's what we pledged to do on this project.
This
And,
thing is about abatement. What are you looking for? What amount are you looking for?
well, we'd like to,
I think that will be an executive session, and we'll move it, right after you finish your introduction, we'll move into executive session
okay.
to discuss
We'd
it.
like to discuss that with you. Any other questions? So just a couple other benefits, lease income for the landowners. It is very beneficial for the landowners. And not just for these landowners, but if this project can move forward, I'm sure there'll be other projects in the county. And it'll be additional landowners that will be able to have other
And I just
additional
want to
lease.
make sure that the public is aware, what happened, what transpired, and what's coming in next, They need to know, because I have been asked a lot of questions about Duke Energy, what happened. And the things that I would have told them was gonna happen, nothing transpired.
Judge, I'm lost here.
And I think
Very
public should know,
simple
but
question. Why does it have to be in the executive session, the amount, what they're looking for?
Because it's a business negotiation that other companies might have advantage of.
I think another, when I worked for the county in Utah and our wind project came in, one thing that we looked at, and I think it's a good way to look at it. I know a lot of people don't look at it this way, but there's different types of economic development. One type of economic development is a company that's going to create lots of jobs, lots of good paying jobs, and that's great. That's what we all need, right? That's that's very important. But there's another type of economic development that this project is, and it's a project that it's a highly capitalized project, costs lots of money to build, lots of equipment, which is good for tax revenues, property tax revenues, but it doesn't bring in a lot of jobs, which in one way is not good, but in another way it is good because it doesn't create a lot of services for the county and the school district. You know, if we were bringing in a company with 500 jobs, you'd probably have to build a new school. Since we're only bringing in 10, you're not going to need to build a new school, so the existing residents that are here will be able to benefit from those new tax dollars. So that's one thing that the project does. Is it's not a huge it's not a huge service burden on the county. So I think that's important to point out. We also, in a small way, we like to be a part of the community. We like to contribute to some smaller projects that are going on. Just some examples of what we've done in Texas is in Armstrong County on one of our projects, we participate in building a 4-H barn. And it's not a huge deal, but we like to be part of the community. In Floyd County, we participated in a Unity Center. Another simple project that we do around the country is there's a company called Donors Choose, and we know that lots of school teachers use a lot of their personal funds in the schoolroom, and so we have a program set up. It's just a couple $100 here and there to let school teachers go in, and we fund that for a county, and school teachers can go in and request money for their classroom and get $100 here and there to help out. So that's just small things, but we do like to do that. And also, we would offer to the commissioners and the judge, we'd love for you to be able to call the county commissioners and the judge and some of the other counties we've worked in Floyd and Armstrong County in Texas, and just ask about us. Ask about how your experience was with it was First Wind at the time. But I think that would be helpful because we are our own company. We've tried to build our own reputation. We'd love for you to call them and talk to them about ourselves.
Your Honor, I said we're going to go into executive action, but I hope this Commissioner's Court don't do the same mistake that we did, because I was part of it. It's approved something that is not in black and white, written and taken to an attorney that knows about contracts, not just any attorney, before we do anything or approve anything.
Yeah, I
Because-
think we all learned, Commissioner, and that certainly will happen. You know.
And like I said, that's my personal opinion. I said, let's see what they got and listen and.
Okay, I guess it's 10:30. And
If I could just close, Judge,
Sure.
I just want to make one final point, and that is, this tax abatement is important to the project. We're doing work. We want to stay on track, but our executives, you know, in order for the project to be financially viable, we do have to have a tax payment. We can't do it without it because of the tax rate, and so I just want you to know that you know.
What was that again, sir? Can you repeat it?
In order for the project to be financially viable, to be a viable project, we do need to have a tax abatement, and we're out there trying to move the project forward by spending money on engineering, et cetera. But
We understand all
Okay,
that. We
okay.
understand that. I mean.
just
we-
want to
we
let you know
understand.
that.
We completely understand that. I hope
Okay.
that, we're not that, to me, with all due respect, we understand that.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Judge.
It's 10:30, and pursuant to section 551.074, we will now go into executive session to discuss Rio Bravo Wind Project tax request under Tax Code 312 Texas statute, and to discuss possible order of salaries. 3-5, and we're back in open session. Under items covered in executive session, the first one was order of salaries. I'll go ahead and entertain a motion.
I those who move, Your Honor, to approve the order of sellers with the exception of those two on the detention department.
I second.
Moved and second, discussion. All in favor, please, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The other thing that we discussed was the Rio Bravo Wind Project tax request. And
I
I'll go
move that
ahead.
we authorize Rosie to negotiate.
I second, Your Honor.
Okay, have a motion and a second to negotiate Rose Benavides to negotiate a contract with,
Judge, would I correct you on that?
Yeah,
Not the contract.
I'm sorry, not a contract, it's to
To go
negotiate a
over-
number. for-
Go over the numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not discussing any contract. Negotiate the numbers.
Correct, that's your motion? Commissioner?
Yes, sir.
That's
I
your
second.
second. Discussion? All in favor, please, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Anyone else from out of town that needs to come before the court at this time? Before we start with our...
We have a lady here, Your Honor, on public forum. Item number
Oh, yes.
5, 7.
Linda Falcon, you want to take the photo, please? Okay.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning,
Good morning.
Commissioners.
Morning, ma'am.
My name is Linda Falcon. I have some information booklets I would like for you to have so you can follow me throughout my presentation. It's visual for you all.
Go to them, cómo le digo.
Good morning. How are you this morning?
Good morning.
Judge, Commissioners, I'm here this morning. Well, before I start my presentation, I would just like to acknowledge Commissioner Garza. He's the commissioner to my precinct. I contacted him before with my concerns. He returned my calls. He's very good, very efficient. Just to say thank you, Commissioner Garza.
You're welcome
I
anytime.
appreciate you listening to the constituents' concerns. Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Como le estaba diciendo a Mr. Garza, like I told Commissioner Garza, what prompted me to come here today? Hurricane Harvey prompted me. Right now we have Hurricane Irma. My concerns is, what if this hurricane came our direction? I live very close to the Rio Grande River. And if you look on your first page, there's a map there. The outline in red is a pit that was dug there, I'm not sure, back in the 80s. The outline in yellow is my residence. I believe back in 2010, Hurricane Alex came by. It didn't hit us directly. It actually went to Mexico. What hit us was the waters that were coming through our Rio Grande River. The waters came very close to my backyard, and if you look at the following pictures, you actually see the waters from Alex coming towards the back. Inches, and that water would have overflowed into our area. It was frightening. We were scared. It never happened before. This property belonged to my grandfather, Valadez, passed down to my mom, passed down to me, and as we recall by my grandfather saying, aquí en el refugio nunca se ha hundido, it's never flooded. Why? Why has it never flooded? The other parts of refugio have flooded. Why hasn't this particular area flooded? Because we're in an elevation, higher elevation. All around el refugio, to my east, to my west, the water flows and it meets in the front of el refugio. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, back in 1967, the year I was born, it flooded. Rio Grande flooded. Beulah came by. And I remember my grandfather's, se habían lanchas por aquí, mija, pero para allá, no, it didn't flood. Well, now that's not the case anymore, because back in the 80s, property owner decided to go near the river and build a pit. Now, when it floods, Well, we would thought it would never reach us, but as you can see, it did. And this is not a hurricane hitting us. This is just water.
I'm sorry, just so I can, you said someone went and built a pit?
A pit, as you can see on the first map,
Uh-huh,
sacaron tierra to sell.
okay,
They didn't buy the property to live on it.
okay.
They bought it to dig dirt. And as you can see the outline, and yes, you can see the tree line in the
Yes,
middle,
Yes,
where they dug all the way to my residence. And it's not only my property that will be impacted if this, I have a wall there, a 8-foot wall de bloque. Can it hold the pressure of the water? I don't think so. If that thing breaks, if we have, quien anda Hurricane Jose ahorita, ya pegó Hurricane Irma, ya pegó Hurricane Harvey, anda Hurricane Jose ahora. Can my wall hold that water? I don't think so. I don't think the water's gonna stop at my house. I think the water, the pressure's gonna continue. As you can see, there's another map. Donde está la community. No sé, Commissioner Garza, somos como 200, 300 almas ahí.
Your Honor, okay, we'll go and finish your
You see,
presentation.
that's my concern.
Yeah, okay.
Those are my fears. As
You
a
are-
citizen, as a constituent of this county, I'm coming to you, public officials, to see how can we calm Ms. Falcon and her community's fears? Because the hurricanes are not getting smaller, they're getting stronger. And we have evidence of back in 2010, it didn't even hit us, it hit Mexico. But the water came down our Rio Grande River. Yo pienso, ¿qué tenemos en el condado ahorita? What do we have in place as far as ordinances and regulations for property owners that live along the river? Is there any oversight? How can you go dig a hole and years pass, pasen cosas como están pasando ahorita? We got hurricanes coming, we got floodings. This is only gonna, I know I live in an area that's prone to flooding. I live near the Rio Grande River. I have no question, I'm prone to flooding. But this compounds my problem even further because tengo un direct roadway into my community, to my property and my community. It's not just elevation. This is actually a big hole, a big pit. Y yo le hablé a Commissioner Garza, Mr. Garza, me inspiró a hablarle a usted because we have Hurricane Harvey. I was wondering, what if it came over here to us? I know all the county would be in desperation, como está ahorita la gente de Houston, como está la gente de Florida. Pero I'm coming to you before we get to that point. Because it's not only me, my life, my family, it's my community and home. That my wall breaks, it's not just regular flooding at a controlled pace, it's rushing, gushing water coming down my property and my community.
Your Honor, let me iterate on this. That property is a private property, belongs at the present time to Alejos Clark. Previously, I don't know who the actual owner was, but the one that dug that thing was one of los cuates' brother who was hauling dirt. He either bought or rent, or I don't know, who dug all that ditch there, took all the field dirt or whatever, in that area, you know. It belongs to Alejos Clark. Alejos Clark didn't dug that ditch, it was somebody else that dug it. And I wasn't here when Beulah, I was up in California working up there when Beulah came by. And after I came back, you know, all the water had receded. But I talked to my constable this morning and asked him, you know, I recall at some point in time that there was a conversation that when Beulah came, La Casita, everything was flooded up there, and water came through close to the Highway 83 for the exception of that area where they live. There was no water in there. They're in a high elevation. So when this hurricane came by, I remember that we had that flood that the water came back to the drainage ditches. He told me that they went up there and helped Audencio, your brother-in-law, or your cousin.
Reynaldo Sainz?
Reynaldo Sainz, Reynaldo. He had some goats, and they went there and got into, it was only about a foot of water into there. So it's pretty high, you know, and it's still got another maybe 10 feet or more so the river can jump over after, the water. And I see your concern, but you're way up there pretty high, and like I said, I know it's a concern, and I see it very well. What can we do? I don't know, it's private property.
Well, I understand it's private property, but at some point, it will become a county problem because it's not only gonna be impacting my property if that thing breaks, and it's not 10 feet to reach the, like you said, the water line. As you can see, you have pictures there. It's inches, and that's what.
From your house to the where the hole is dug, inches?
Where the water line reached back in 2010, the pit got full of water, so no más
It was
quedaba.
only inches?
Yes,
From
ahí
your
está.
house?
Oh, no, from the water line coming over the embankment.
To your back, you have to your,
To my house
to the
is 300
embankment,
feet.
but not to your backyard, right?
The embankment abuts my backyard, yes.
This was inches before it got to your
For the
brick wall.
water line to overflow over the embankment, it was inches. For the water to reach my property, I would say about 200 feet.
So look at
Aquí
the,
está.
I understand, look at the, and I understand your concern,
Y
but
luego
like I
comenzó a
said,
recede el
and
agua.
if we get more water, it probably will, I don't doubt it. You have a hurricane, you have 5, 6, 50 inches of water. I don't know what's gonna happen to us here, probably, but it is a concern, and I see your concern, but I don't know what can the county do?
Well, I think the county needs to have some sort of ordinances or regulations in place for oversight of property owners building or digging pits along the riverbed.
I think we don't have that ordinance power, don't you?
That's something that needs to be
It's not
addressed.
through us, but it's through IBWC. You have to get a permit through IBWC.
So how was this person granted a permit back then?
You bring a good point, Mr. Gonzalez. Yeah, you're smarter than I thought you were. Maybe. Maybe we need to contact
Algo así,
see,
Mr. Garza.
Water and Boundary Commission, to see what can be done, He's got a point.
And like I told you, I mean, it's not only that pit. I was told there are other pits along the riverbed, 15 acres, that the people are doing this, they're making a profit, and they're leaving the holes. And what happens when we get hurricanes? The people have to have.
What
to
I was gonna
face-
suggest was maybe getting our engineer to go out there and look at it, and maybe he can get with IBWC or someone.
Un berm,
Yes.
I mean, there's impossible to build it. Un berm.
Yeah.
Ha visto berms que pones en la boca, especially where it starts,
Yeah.
where he started the digging way at the river edge.
Yeah.
Un berm, un levee, algo, so we can prevent the flowing of, so,
Yeah,
because the
the-
flow
the-
of
the
the
thing-
river has been diverted to my area.
Yeah.
The natural flow of the river has now been diverted by a person.
Yeah, and I don't know, because I haven't seen the situation, the problem.
I invite you to
I'll
come
go
to my
by.
house.
I'll go by.
Give me a call.
But what I gather by what the commissioner is saying is that if you live in an area that high, like you say, water has never gotten to your house, water will seek its own level. So before it can get to your house, it's gonna get to all the other low areas.
Correct.
So even if it were to go over the embankment, it's gonna loop around your house because your house is higher, if that's what I understood correctly. And other areas are going to flood, whether this is there or not, because the water will seek its level. So for this to get to that level, to get higher, that means the water's gonna
Well,
come.
if you take a look at the map where I showed 2 maps, there's an outline of the red outline of the pit and then the
Yes.
yellow.
Yes.
Right there is my wall.
Yeah, but.
Esa wall se quebra. What happens when you have a
See,
breached wall?
no.
Does it,
But what I'm saying, Mr. Alfonso, is if your house is sitting on la lomita, por decir, then the water is gonna go around la lomita and it might go into el refugio, which we don't want that either, before it gets to your house, because it's going to seek its own level. Again, we need to get some engineers out there, run some levels, see what it is, get with the Boundary Commission, if they have laws or rules for this, for them to enforce it, maybe someone has to fill it in.
and Judge, I think it's something very critical that we address for all those landowners that have properties along the river bend, that we don't have unscrupulous people like this person that goes in there and digs pits and then leaves the aftermath for the community, for you to address. And they're making a profit and they're, okay, adios, ahí ustedes. We
Yeah,
need,
you know, again, the planning department can present something to the court, some type of rule that we can add to the model rules and regulations. Maybe staying away so many feet from the river or something, I don't know. But we will look into it, we will explore it, and I'll go by and I'll look at it.
Yes, please give me a call. Commissioner Garza has my phone number.
Yes, ma'am. I'll go with you, Judge.
Háblenme ahí,
We'll go look
so
at
we-
it, we'll go look
so
at
you
it
can
and.
see where my fear is coming from. Because yo estoy pensando se va a quebrar. Yo no
Yeah.
I'm not thinking it's just gonna be a natural flow. I'm thinking this thing is gonna burst and this is gonna be, it's gonna be strong. Massive, como
We'll-
dice
we'll
Trump.
take-
This thing is gonna be massive.
We'll take our engineer and get some guidance from him.
I appreciate it, Judge. I really do. Y Commissioner Garza, muchas gracias. Le
Sí, ahí
agradezco.
estamos para servirle, ma'am.
Okay,
Thank
and
you.
I think this
Anytime.
is it for me. I conclude my presentation. I appreciate you taking the time and talking to me and addressing my concerns. Have a
Thank-
blessed day.
thank you very much.
Gracias,
Thank you.
Commissioner Garza.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. I guess we'll start with anyone else that needs to come before the court? Yes. 18. Oh, okay. Let's go to item 18. This is an action item to approve a tax abatement proposal for Armando Peña Investment. This is a border Texan here in town.
What item is that?
18.
Good morning. Item 18, sir. Good morning, Your Honor. Good morning, Commissioners. We're here today because we have worked with Armando Peña Investments a couple of times in the past. He is the proprietor of Bordertown and Bordertown Hardware and in some locations Ace Hardware. He's actually looking to start construction on his third site in Starr County. He's got one in Alto Bonito and he's got one in Midway that are already fully operational. They've been operational for some time. We helped him in one of the additional projects, and we're looking potentially to grant a tax abatement for this next project that he's about to begin. It's about $1 million investment.
How much is it? How much is he asking for, ma'am?
In the past, sir, what we did a 2-year abatement. We did.
And I totally agree with abatements like that, because this gentleman has provided jobs and permanent jobs. He's still in business, he's still there, and he's very helpful to the community. So I don't have no questions or doubts about this gentleman here. And I do so move that we approve his abatement.
I second.
It's a 2-year abatement. First year is 100%, second year 50%.
Correct, yes.
Yep,
Okay, I have a motion and a
I
second.
second, Your Honor.
Any discussion? All in favor, please, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, thank you, sir. I'm going to excuse myself to start working on the items that
Okay.
are.
Thank you, Rose. Okay, well, anyone else that needs to come before the court? If not, we'll start with our reports, and please, just summarize, be brief, because it's already almost 12 o'clock. Gas Department, Mr. Alvarez?
Morning, Judge,
Good morning.
Commissioners.
Morning.
My report is on your agenda or in your package. Just refer to the construction we're doing. We've finished 10,000 feet of line replacement west of 3167. The project has been done. It's been terminated. On that side of town, we lack only Borra subdivision, which has 3 meters that we need to replace the PVC line, and we also need to cross Highway 83 at Tractor Supply. That'll be a costly cross because it's got to be bored. So we'll just hold on to it. This 10,000 feet that we did should keep the RC off our back for a little while. So I think we'll be okay.
Well, and I do want to commend you, Mr. Alvarez, for, I go by there every 2 or 3 hours. And the guys have done a good job cleaning up, keeping it safe, so certainly they've done a great job.
They were really good about it. We didn't hit a single, a single line. So I'm glad about it.
I have one question. On your report, the gas purchase, 24,239.89 cents. Is that for 1 month period?
Gas postage,
Purchase.
you're talking purchase.
Purchase.
The one on the report, yes, it's for this month.
It's for 1 month period.
Mhm.
All right.
That would be the last 24,239. Yes, that would be the last purchases.
24,000 a month.
24,239.
That's the gas that you bought.
Yes.
Okay, let me ask you something. How does it fluctuate, give or take, during the year? Is it pretty steady?
In
That-
in the winter months, it goes up.
Yeah, and it goes up, but do you expect any more sales of gas that you could,
In volume,
yeah?
mm, it should stay pretty steady unless what we can't dictate is Mother Nature. Last year, we might have had what the Railroad Commission calls heavy days. We probably had 4 or 5. The year before, we had 3 or 4. But then the year before that, we had like 30 days a winter that is heavy use.
We understand that, but it doesn't, what I would say is that you don't expect to bring in any more revenues than what we had last year, or do you expect any more revenues that?
Oh,
Unless there's more business.
good question. It fluctuates. The one thing I can tell you, because I don't know if you'll notice on your last page, your gas, cost of gas went up from $5.77 last month to $6.08 this month. So that's going to be changing pretty regularly if the crisis keeps on going.
So you mean to say that we expect to have a higher rate of gases, of the cost of gas?
The cost of gas is different every month.
Yeah, it
Okay.
goes up and down every month.
That can make sense.
Yeah, as far as revenues, Commissioner, if you recall, we increased the rates.
Yes, sir.
I don't know when we did that,
Last October.
last October. So this year, they went up, and this coming year, they should be pretty flat.
Yeah.
So we should get more revenues
No.
this coming year because of the increase of the,
Yeah, this year that we're finishing.
We've already gone the whole year with the new rates.
oh, you already gone with the whole year with their new rate? So
Yes.
there's not going to be any change?
No,
No.
Okay.
Like I said, only if we have 60 days of winter, then we're going to sell a whole lot of
But it's
gas.
not going to do very much. Cost, ponle que un mes doble más de, of course. If you had 2 months of a high volume, you probably have another month of, right?
Right.
it's going to be pretty consistent. This
It
coming year.
does. It usually does. I think it was just the example I used was 3 years ago. It was one of those years that we really had a heavy winter, a heavy use. But other than that, it stays pretty steady. It's South Texas.
We understand that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Transfer station, Mr. Gonzalez?
Good morning, Judge, Commissioner. They leave a financial report there. The only thing I can add to the report is that the scrap tire facility is completed, it's done. We already moved the machines over there, and we're receiving any tires coming in that area. We also put a trailer so we can transfer the cut tires over to the
You need
transfer
to what?
station. To transfer the cut tires to
But
the
you need a
transfer
trailer?
station. Yes, sir. We have 3 trailers where we store scrap metal. So we use one of that to put over there. If not, we'll have to be transferring the scrap tires on the bucket of the loader, and there'd be a lot of back and forth with that. The trailer will make it easier, and we can transfer a lot more pieces of tire.
So what kind of trailer are you looking for? or what?
No, we already have one.
Oh, you already have one?
We already have one, we
Okay.
just installed one, I'm sorry.
Let me ask you something,
Yes,
and
sir.
I don't know this for you, but, and this is what I heard and saw, you know, and what I've heard. This deal on the lawsuit that they have with the city, apparently what I've heard, I don't know what it is, I'm not an attorney, that they lost the contract, or, the garbage, or the city lost the lawsuit, and supposed to turn over everything to the,
To be a fine.
BFI, whatever. What's gonna happen, our volume's gonna come down.
Yeah, our volumes will
significantly.
come down, or coming into the transfer station. However, the city of Roma is going to start bringing their garbage to our transfer station, because their landfill is full. And they've applied to make it bigger, but that's gonna take 9 months, a year, something like that.
That's
So-
what I'm saying, you know, because
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
apparently what I hear is that they have to turn over that contract to the, what I hear, I don't know which I'm correct or not, you know.
Yeah, that will hurt us, because we're gonna lose volume,
Yes,
but hopefully Roma will make up for some of that.
I think Roma's gonna be, I think it's gonna take from a year to a year and a half,
That's-
in order for
that's
them
what-
to have their additional landfill ready
That's what they
for
do.
operation. Yes, sir. And City Escobares, and I think, Rio ISD is the one also started bringing their trash to us where.
Rio is coming down here to the landfill.
To the transfer station. I mean, they've been bringing them, but,
But that's because Patricio has the,
yes, sir.
Patricio has the contract at this point in time. It's,
Yes, sir.
okay.
And I don't know, in the future, if, any other company is gonna, I don't know where in the Rio ISD contract
But
itself,
we have
but
a
as long as
possibility
Patricio
of
has it,
losing
we'll do.
some more or getting some more.
Yes, sir.
Okay. That
Any
makes
other-
sense.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. Tax assessor, Ms. Salinas.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. You have the report for the month of August in front of you. I would
Send it back to her.
Okay, the total white collections for August 2017 were 441,000. For August 2016, there were 779,000. There was a total difference of 337,000 less than last year. Year-to-date county-wide collections for the current year are 23,675,000. Year-to-date collections for the same time last year were 23,924,000. That is a difference of 248,900 less than last year. There was no difference in collections, in current collections since 2016 taxes became delinquent in July. Our total delinquent collections for the month of August 2017, just for Starr County, were 284,000. Total delinquent collections for August 2016 were 544,000. That's a difference of 220,000 and 20,000 less than last year. Year-to-date, Starr County delinquent collections are 2,562,000. Year-to-date collections for the same time last year were 1,984,000. That is a difference of 578,000 more than last year. As of August 31st, 2017, of the remaining 1,417,000 projected collections, the tax office collected $85,300 in delinquent 2016 taxes. Projected 2016 collections remaining are 1,332,000. Do you have any questions?
Any questions?
Based on, Judge,
Yes,
based on your figures there, ma'am, how are we comparisons with the pluses and minuses, because I saw some minuses and pluses. Where are we at the total collections? You know, we were less on some and compared more on the others, compared to last year. Did we collect more or less? Or did we collect the amount budgeted for the fiscal year of,
Not yet, sir.
like, how much are we like?
1 million. The
1 million.
projected one is 1,332,000.
Short of what was budgeted?
Yes.
Yeah, 1,103,000. Sorry.
Short, okay, and we still got only a few days of the month.
20
We got maybe
20 days.
20 days.
Yeah, this is through the end of August.
August.
However, our delinquency, we collected about 500,000 more.
Right, than last
That's
year.
what I meant, you know, because,
So
I mean,
we're
based
about-
on the minus and pluses.
We're about 500,000 short.
Right.
No,
So-
no, together.
Together,
But-
we're.
No, we're a million short, including, that's why I asked her, with the plus and minuses. Where are we at? She said a million some under.
It's in front of you.
A million-
Well, I couldn't find them, but
A
that's
mil-
all right. I don't know further questions.
Commissioner,
I don't know.
A million 103 is what we're under in tax collections.
Correct.
Without delinquency. In the delinquency, we're plus 578. So we're about 500,000 short.
Yeah.
Combining. Is that
Right,
correct?
correct. Any other question?
Any other questions, comments?
No.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you,
Ana.
ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
County Clerk, Sir Gonzalez.
Commissioner, Judge, my report's in the package. You don't have any questions?
Any questions, comments? Thank you. Sheriff Department?
Morning. I have two reports. I have a report for July and August. The reports are on your desk. The report for August, the total revenues for July was $111,988. That was less, $10,962 less than the previous month. And we had an average of federal inmates of 68 federal inmates throughout that month. For the month of August, we have revenues of $187,523. And that is a plus $75,537 from the month of July. And we averaged that month at 115 federal prisoners.
It was actually increased 30 more inmates, federal inmates, right?
Well, so we went from 68, average from 68 to 115.
Well, I'm seeing two reports here. The present one, it says 134 federal inmates, and this one is for, that's in July. You had
August. There's
104. So it's actually an increase of 30 federal prisoners, right?
Right.
Yeah. However, September,
But it's increasing, it's increasing.
It's increasing, correct. Right now, we're averaging, this entire month, we've been averaging from 130 to 134. The entire
But,
month.
based on the conversation we had with you last time,
Yes.
how many do you think you could get
How many more?
more?
Could
More,
we add?
right now, I have 20 to 25 beds
So we can
extra.
probably hit 155, 160,
That would be
maxing out.
maxing out the jail, but that would be giving out our cushion for state inmates. If we get an influx of more state inmates, then we have to let go of some feds back to the marshal.
State inmates, that, we're talking about our.
That's correct for
county
the county,
inmates.
yes.
Correct.
The county inmates the average for county inmates for August was 122 state
Right.
inmates. Those
And
are
last
all-
time was at 124.
Yeah.
Have we done anything with especially with that incident program that we have to represent the people, the
They've been.
state inmates?
Yeah, they've been doing a good job, Commissioner, as far as keeping our local population misdemeanor, stuff like that, keeping it low. They go in there, they try and bargain.
They need
That's
to,
right.
they need to lower it down a bit. 50 or 60? But what- you got 120 too many, we could use those beds.
That is correct, that's correct. We did, there was a lot of transfers out to TDC, to the state units this week. They were holding back because of the hurricane, they weren't accepting any inmates at TDC. Yesterday, some left, and day before, and Friday, some left. So there's for the month of September, we should have a lower number.
For locals.
Yes, for locals.
Yeah, we can keep it at double digit. For the-
Yes, yes. So, like I said, September, it's 130 plus.
Any
Very
other
good.
question, comment?
Yes, sir.
Hope you can fill them up.
Thank you.
Hope so, and stay like that.
Yes, sir.
Si no, no digamos unos cuantos de eso.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Okay, complete.
International Bridge,
Eso sí.
Commissioner, or Leche.
Yes, this is the August 2017 revenue. It's $208,766, and we show an increase of $13,817. That's for the month of August 2017 compared to the month of August 2016. And we show a decrease of $2,539 with 50 cents. That's for the August 2017 compared to July 2017. And other collections, it's $765.71. And the grand total collections for the month of August 2017, it's $209,531 with 71 cents.
Ma'am, let me ask you a question, maybe you don't have it, but do you don't happen to have the total amounts of the whole year, this fiscal year? What the-
I don't have it here with me, but I can get it for you and I can
Well,
send it to
I'm
you.
going to ask the judge, where are we at with what you budgeted, what's.
We brought more in than what we budgeted.
Yes, yes, and I'm gonna have it, next month I'll have a full report for the whole year.
For the whole year,
also.
that'd be
Yes.
good, so we'll know,
Where we're at.
where we're at with the projected revenues that were budgeted, what actually came in.
Yeah, it's gonna be more probably this year.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Treasurer, Mr. Peña.
Good afternoon, Judge and Commissioners. I'm gonna go over the summary, and the actual reports should be in front of you already. As of June 30, 2017, the general fund had 357,000 less than the same time last year. The road and bridge fund was at 93,000 less than at the same time last year. And the total amount of funds in all bank accounts was at 9.8 million, or 800,000 less than the same time last year. We are working with the new auditor on a solution to the bank general ledger reconciliation issues dating back to January 2015. The auditor's office is working very well with all financial offices. The amount of loans of general and enterprise funds was $935,000, being $383,000 more than at the same time last year. Judge Vera got a new loan for $1.5 million.
Let me correct that. I cannot get a new loan. The Commissioners Court got a new loan. And it was not for 1.5, it was for 1 million.
Okay.
That was the first one, Judge.
This is the first one?
Yeah.
We're still reporting it? We've had it for 2
Yeah,
months.
I was gonna present my report on the 28th.
Ah, that's right, that's right. Okay, go ahead, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, okay.
Okay, and that loan will be due and payable in 60 days. This is simply not enough, and cash is going to run out again. But then we have that new loan. The balance of county annex building bond was just over 1.5 million, being just under $500,000 less at the same time last year. The county's deposits were well collateralized with the bank at 5% above our contract terms. The final 2016 certified tax levy to the current tax collection rate for this fiscal year is 78% for the general M&O, and 67% for the Road and Bridge FMFC. Attached. The Starr County unemployment rate for July was 11.3%. The rate from July 2017 compared to July 2017, from July 2016 to July 2017, decreased by an amazing 3%. The seasonally adjusted national unemployment rate decreased by 1.1% to 4.3%, and Texas decreased by 0.3% to 4.3%. And this concludes the summary of the reports, and the full monthly treasury report is recorded with the county clerk.
The best news is the unemployment rate in July went down by a whole 3% compared to the previous year. That is a real decrease, and that's an amazing decrease. It's not from one month to the other, but rather the same time last year, so that's a true comparison, and it was an amazing decrease. We also would like to request, I don't know if it'll have to be in the next meeting's agenda item, we like to open up 4 bank accounts for the county attorney's office, so that we can move those bank account, those monies to the county depository.
I think, Mr. Peña, that had been approved a long time ago, that we wanted everything under the same depository.
We'll do it.
I don't think, unless the court sees otherwise.
Well, we have.
At the request of the county attorney.
A long time ago.
See, we had asked for it.
Okay.
Who's had the right to do it? I don't know.
The county treasurer, but the county attorney already authorized me to make this request to you.
Yeah.
And if you agree, then we can.
The other thing that we had requested, Mr. Peña, was that all the checks have 2 signatures. That is our policy.
It'll be Mr. Boyd Carter and myself, and the other one is that the bank reconciliation will be done at the treasury from now on. He has already delegated that duty in accordance with local government code 113. So that matter has been.
One question on line number 11. You know, I know Ms. Salinas and I went over that the other time, where you have the collection rate for general at 78 and road and bridge at 67. Ms. Salinas had both of them, I think, at, let me acuérdame, what was it?
If I can direct your attention or to this page in your package.
What page is it?
I don't know, they don't have a page number, but it's almost all the way to the back.
And the reason I ask is quite simple. When I go pay my taxes, I don't say, I want to pay only road and bridge, I don't want to pay general, or I want to pay general, I don't want to pay road and bridge. We pay everything combined, so it should be the same.
There shouldn't be a difference.
No, shouldn't be a difference.
I don't see why.
Yeah.
Well, it was brought up last time, and I asked him too. How can you, when you go pay your taxes, you pay all the whole package?
Yeah.
And if you pay only a portion of them, it's gotta be divided equally,
Yeah.
based on the percentage.
Yeah.
Let's say if you got a $2,000 bill, and you wanna give 1,000, it has to be divided portions to each tax entity, not to one and not to the other one, in my opinion.
What page was that, Mr. Peña, that you showed?
It looks like this, it's towards the end, about 3-4 pages towards the end.
¿Cuál es el número?
Where it says tax levy, actual
Page
collection?
1, 2, and 3.
Tax levy, actual collection,
Is that
and
the
still
one?
pending to be collected.
Okay. Uh-huh.
And the packet that I put in your desk, on the packet that's on your desk. There's a packet, a staple packet. Commissioner Peña, it's in one of them that has 2 holes. The situation is that there's been some abatement issues, and the way what number was utilized as the tax levy or the tax value of the county is still up in the air, and the one that was certified is the one that's utilized in this report. And the tax levy is the one that was certified, and And if you go by that number, and you say, well, how much did we actually collected? Well, we actually collected in 2016 taxes, 8 million point two were collected, and you levied 10 million, so the percentage is 78%, and you got 2.3 million in delinquency.
Yeah, but I guess the question is, if we levied a tax of, just for sake of numbers.
10.5.
52 cents per 100 for general, and we had a 23 cents for road and bridge. That means out of every dollar, 52 go to one, 23 go to the other. It should be the same percentages because it's the same dollar that came in.
It's quite a complicated matter, but Stephanie can explain it, and Ms. Salinas can explain it. It has to do with the abatement and what was abated and the road and bridge that go and.
They both were abated, and I did check with them, and they came out with the same percent on both.
Those are the numbers that were provided. I'm sure that.
No,
you
it
can
was just a
stop.
question, but, I still feel they're.
But it has to be with the abatement, and if you use the amended tax levy, then the delinquency rate will go to 26%. So that's what, is that abatement with the wind farm that is the one that's.
Mr. Peña, what I see from the judge, whatever was collected has to be even. 80 on road and bridge or on general fund, it has to be the same percentage. You can't change.
I made the same question, but those are the numbers that were provided.
But
They
they
can be
provided to
reviewed,
you.
and I'm sure that she'll meet with you, and Ms. Salinas will meet with you. And then
We
you-
met, I met
so
with
that-
both of them already, and they agreed that it was the same number. But that's
We're-
fine, as long as the money comes in.
Nomás que caiga la cubeta.
That's todo.
Like for this coming year, it's either you recognize the abatement at 85%, or you increase the delinquency to 25% delinquency, because they're not gonna pay. It's gonna be in litigation, so you can't budget the money that you know it's not gonna be there. So it's either you recognize the abatement, or you lower the collection
I
rate.
think what they're gonna do, Mr. Peña, they're gonna pay at 85%, and that's where we valued it, at 85. If we can get the 75 that we're asking for, we'll have a.
Then it'll
a
be
surplus.
money that'll come in
We'll have
later.
a
That'll be
surplus,
great.
yeah. But we budgeted at 85. Any
Thank you for
questions,
your time,
comments?
gentlemen.
Thank you. Mr. Carter, Auditor.
Good morning, it's almost good afternoon now, Judge and Commissioners, and thank you for this opportunity to address the court. You should have my report in your package there. This is as of, this report is as of July 31st. I haven't been able to develop the complete August report yet. As of July 31st, the general fund cash available was $171,601.52, and the road and bridge fund cash available was $25,471.75. In the general fund, the budgeted amount of total revenue was $17,706,886. The year-to-date collected was $13,807,211. The remaining balance to be collected was $3,899,675. So the percentage received was 77.98%. The general fund expenditures budgeted were $17,726,791. The year-to-date amount actually expended was $14,412,744. The remaining available balance was $2,775,135, and the percentage expended was 84.34%. So therefore, as of July 31st, the year-to-date expenditures exceeded the revenues by $605,533. In the road and bridge fund, the budgeted amount of revenue was $5,717,365. The year-to-date amount collected was $5,006,770. The remaining balance to be received is $710,596, and the percentage received was 87.57%. In the Road and Bridge Fund expenditures, the budgeted amount was $5,721,452. The year-to-date amount actually expended was $4,481,472. The remaining available budget was $885,745, and therefore the percent expended was 84.52%. The reports show that the year-to-date revenues exceeded expenditures by $525,298. However, this does not consider the fact that the Road and Bridge Fund began the year with a deficit balance of approximately $1 million remaining from last year. And lastly, I need to advise the Commissioners Court that a recent State Attorney General's opinion has declared that the pre-approval of county expenditures is no longer allowed. This is going to cause a major change in the way we operate. What this means is exactly our historical practice of ongoing POs, purchase orders, can't continue. Each invoice is going to have to be presented for approval before it can be paid, and each one will have to be presented on our normal list. This includes payroll. So therefore, payrolls can't be issued without specific Commissioners Court approval prior to the payroll date. I'm working with the Human Resources Department to work out the kinks and I'm working with Judge Vedder, and I'll work with each of you on a schedule or a process and procedure of how to accomplish this. Right now, we don't have answers.
Mr. Carter, one of the things, and we don't have any legal counsel with us today, but when an Attorney General gives an opinion, it's just that, it's an opinion, it's not law. I think until it becomes law, I don't know.
Is that the law or an opinion,
Well,
Mr. Carter? Or they just pass
his
the law?
opinion is an interpretation of the law. The law already exists.
Yeah, but the court is the one that determines if it's law. An opinion is an opinion. And normally you want to follow the AG's opinion. But in this case, it would bring the county government to a screeching halt. We need to have meetings every day for POs and budgets, because we need specific numbers. See, we cannot say we approve $100,000.
Yes.
Is that correct?
The law says that the Commissioners Court does not have the authority to delegate the approval or the payment of items to other offices.
But is that, the law says that, or the opinion says that?
The law says that.
Judge, before 2012, and I'll talk to you about this.
Yeah.
Before 2012, I had never even heard the word of continuing, what is it?
Ongoing.
Ongoing PO. I had never even heard.
Yes.
When I came in back in 8 months ago, I asked Patricia, my head clerk, what is this? Ongoing PO?
I've never had any ongoing POs. I've heard of several of them. I don't recall which, but not in my precinct. We have never had an ongoing PO. I've heard of several that have, some departments have had ongoing POs, and this is one of them. Matter of fact, it was an ongoing PO to pay the let's say, the cable and all that,
Electricity or
because
whatever.
every month, the cable, you had budgeted, say, for telephone or internet, $1,000. Well, they put an ongoing PO so they can, they would exceed those $1,000, so you don't have to be asking for a PO for 103, and then 104.
Yeah, because
And I did ask for two, Mr. Carter, from your office, but before your time, because they told me that I needed them, but I said, why, what for? But
yeah, the reason, and Reina, maybe you can shed some light, how long have we been doing ongoing POs?
We've been doing them for a long time, Judge, as far as, for utilities.
Utilities, it was mainly
Uh,
utilities.
It's mainly utilities, and many departments have asked way back, for ongoings. For example, I'm gonna go with Sam's. Some nutrition, centers, we pay for catering every month. And, if that caterer wouldn't get payment on time, she wasn't gonna serve the following month. So.
Yeah, it was mainly, like you said, the cable, electricity.
consecutive,
Because if we don't pay it on time, then we get a late fee. And if we don't meet, let's say we met today, the electric bill comes in tomorrow. Well, this is not a good day. On the fourth Monday of the month, we meet. The bill comes in the following day, and then we don't meet for 2 or 3 weeks, because sometimes it takes 3 weeks before we get to the second one. Then we're delinquent, and they cut off our electricity, because so that's the reason we.
And that's happened. Several departments, including Commissioner Garza's, have been left without.
But that was because the other auditor just wanted to be, well, I don't want to say it in public, he just cut off paid every telephone bill in the county for except mine, But it was a personal issue between her and myself and my precinct. But I would suggest this, Judge, Mr. Carter, I don't know if it can be done. Let's say that we have, with, my office with, internet, whatever, AT&T, whatever, and we have why can't we give a PO for
6
for
months.
$1,000 or $3,000, whatever, and they start deducting that out of that PO, the bill, you got a credit of so much. They charge
That's
you,
the ongoing.
that's the ongoing.
Yeah, but he says we can't do that. It's got to be the
even though
specific amount.
you will.
You have, according to the Attorney General's opinion, the only proper way to do it is to wait till the invoice actually arrives and then approve.
Why don't we, let's see what other counties are gonna do, because a lot of counties do the same thing.
Yes, sir, Judge, I can tell you, I'm on an email circuit with all the other county officers. I can promise you, 254 counties in Texas are all screaming about this.
Yeah, because it's gonna bring us to where we need meetings every day. So that's what I'm asking. Let's see what some of them are going to do, if they're gonna challenge the opinion.
It's a hot topic
Because
all
to
over
me,
Texas,
Mr. Carter,
yes.
the way I think is that some things are necessary for an ongoing PO utilities. But the other thing is, I had a, to me, it was like, let me lock in this, so I already spend this money, they can't mess with me. To me, that's what was happening here.
And we can do that.
Difficult, if this ruling stands the way the Attorney General's opinion is written, the real difficult thing is going to be payroll, because a lot of times between myself and the Human Resources Department, we don't know the actual payroll number until 1 or 2 days before we have to fund.
And then we have to meet before to approve the
Yes,
exact
that means
amount.
the Commissioner's Court, and so off the top of my head, I can say in one of the suggestions that's been tossed around by other county auditors is the Commissioner's Court meeting schedule should be coincided with the payroll date schedule. So that would be.
Then we have to coincide with the utility, we have to coincide with.
Yes, if we have 2 payrolls a month,
Por eso we would
then
have a
the Commissioners
council
Court
meeting,
meeting would have to coincide with those payroll weeks.
If I may, Judge, Carter, with your permission.
Go ahead, sir.
I brought this point about a year and a half ago, and you might remember it because I said I wasn't gonna sign any ongoing POs. And I came before the court and I said, ongoing POs, and some people call it open POs. School district have up to $5,000 that they can pay out without having to get authorization from the school board. But counties do not, and I questioned that a year and a half ago. And I was directed at that time by the court to make a list of those types of bills, electricity, telephone, and some others. My recommendation at this time is that we remain as we're doing it, but be very vigilant.
And that's what I'm saying, we need to, until the law,
Until we get more complete guidance from
Yeah.
other counties. But in the meantime, that when this budget cycle comes in for the next fiscal year, that we don't use it for electricity, essential services that, check that have to go out to other states.
and I totally agree. You
Because
know,
like,
it-
for
it-
example, we have a
I
janitor
don't like this
that's
attitude to
getting,
get guidance from other counties. How come we can't get it, out of the counties, get guidance from other, todo tipo de
Por
other
eso,
counties?
we
Don't make
keep,
any
we
sense.
keep doing what we're doing, you know.
It don't make any sense.
Let someone take us to court.
My long-term concern would be that when we close out this fiscal year and we hire a CPA firm to start doing our audit, if they see this and cite a non-compliance situation, you know, we would have issues with our financial
Well,
statements.
that's fine, you know,
Anyway,
the thing,
Yes, sir.
I think that we have, that we can hang our hat on, is that it's an opinion. An opinion is not law. You know, once the courts, you know, if we're doing it wrong, someone's gonna sue us. Then we go to court, and if the court says, no, you need to do it, then we do it. But I think we're running scared when we really don't have a law.
We do approve the salary.
Yeah.
Mr. Carter, before you get off the stand, one quick question. On your report here, it says general fund, the budgeted amount was 17,706,000. That year to date is 13,807,000, with a shortfall of 3,899,000.
No, that was the budgeted revenue amount. That is the total revenue for the year.
Right.
The budgeted amount was 17 million. The amount actually collected
Is
through
13
July
million.
31st was 13 million. So
And we have a shortfall of 3,899,000.
yet to be collected, yes, sir.
Okay, so going down to the expenditures, the budgeted was 17 million. The year-to-date, it's
14 million.
14 million.
Mhm.
And then we have available balance 2,775,000.
775, yes, sir, which is the difference between the first two numbers.
So that tells us that, where was the shortfall, Judge, on the actual 17
Okay,
million?
on the 17, the 3.9 million that is short right now, if you notice, this is through the end of July, August and September, monies that need to come in. And this, every month brings in, we calculated más o menos 600,000-700,000 from the bridge, the jail.
Right, I
you know,
understand,
all
but
that. It brings in anywhere from 6 to 700. So if you go at 600, that's 1.2 million that will be brought in, plus the taxes and all that. That leaves us at about a 2.7? 1.2, yeah, about a 2.7. From that 2.7, we're short 2 million to Duke Energy. So that leaves us at
Isn't it
7.
good? Kiss it
seven-
goodbye, man. We're
700,000.
gonna come back. Como quiera, okay, that's fine. That's all the question I had. Thank you, Mr. Gardner.
Any other questions?
No, sir, thank you, Mr. Gordon.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Mr. Carter. No, I have no report. Okay, moving on. We have to approve the new vendors list, item number 6, Mr. Carter.
All the vendor qualifications.
I'm sorry, you recommend that we do?
Yes, I
I have a motion and second to approve. Discussion. All in favor, please, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 8, It's the same item we've had to authorize the treasurer to transfer monies from countywide to road and bridge as needed.
I so move, Your Honor.
Second that motion.
Moved in second, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 9 is to adopt the sheriff and constable fees for 2018. Mr. Gonzalez, Dennis?
That's, recommend that, we just adopt the same fees as 2017. It's just standard every year. We gotta submit that to the comptroller.
I so move, Your Honor. Second.
Moved in second, discussion. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Item 10 is an action item to approve resolution House Bill 2875, authorizing imposition of an additional filing fee in civil cases. House Bill 2875, this is the one that said that Ryan had passed. This is where $20 will be set aside for
Oh,
the
so he
court.
came back up.
Your Honor, we've had a great, big feedback on this fee. They're complaining totally about these people that, getting that fee, and I have explained to them, but they're screaming about it,
I was my opinion last time, Judge, that the poor people were gonna pay for this thing. And I still insist, so I'm glad he came back up.
Your Honor, in my opinion, I think, and after going back to what this, and we're saying que paguen los malandrines, I think that we should, if we need to build this courthouse or rebuild it, I think the whole county should have a say-so and should come and participate to remodel this courthouse, not only the malandrines, but I can see something else, Judge. We discussed that this is a historical building, that we cannot change anything, especially on those stairways. So why are we gonna invest in rebuilding this courthouse? We can't change anything.
The reason that it needs to be rebuilt, Commissioner, is that if you look at the window sills and wherever, the mortar is already deteriorating. And if we don't fix it, in the very near future, this courthouse will become a very dangerous building. Right now, it's still safe, but we need to start looking at ways to fix it. Now, I sympathize with those people that get a ticket, get a citation, get whatever, but the remedy is very simple. If you don't break the law, you don't pay a penny.
Yes, sir, but some of them break the law, but we have the proof to go to somebody, take this ticket away from us. Some people really don't, and there's the poor people that don't have that option.
This is not for tickets and criminal, this is just
civil.
And this involves lawsuits between companies, between oil companies, person accidents and stuff. Usually insurances are covering this. This does not cover anything in criminal. This is not, tickets, somebody that was facing jail or anything else. This is just civil. I decide to sue somebody for something, I pay, and it's an additional fee of $20 in a fee that's $267. Already you have $50.
Okay, Mr. But these civil cases, are they at the JP level too?
No, they're in district court only.
Okay, we stand corrected, so thank you,
Okay.
there.
The only ones collected will be District 229 and 381st.
No he hecho nada.
But let me, Mr. Garcia, let me ask you something. Where are those funds gonna go to?
They actually go to a fund established by the county. But
Where does it set it for? I mean,
You're gonna open up an account specifically for this and set it up to collect funds.
But what is that?
This gives you the opportunity to ask for a bond issue or something, and you have ways to pay it. I mean, because if you're gonna collect $20 from each case, we'll make a little $500, 500 cases, you'll never get there. But you estimate in a couple of years how much you're getting, and you can go get a bond issue and be paying it through there eventually, and you can leverage this collection into that.
But it's deposit there not for the part-timers and those kind of little things. No, pues te digo porque ya hay mucho de eso, ¿me entiendes? Que el part-timer, que,
This goes into an account that the auditor
Pero te digo, pero hay muchos que entran ahí,
that goes only for courthouse renovation.
Pues it's a civil case, it's there, I don't have no problem.
Oh,
But it's a different account, it'll be safe.
Nomás que no, pues, que, ¿cómo te diré? Que no lo pongas acá y ahí que discretionary fund para que para allá y para acá.
no, muchas gracias. Thank you for clearing it
Dennis.
up, porque,
What about county court at law?
It's actually a civil court cost that would go to the.
That's only a-
The county court at law and the JP level civil cases.
Así que-
What's the JP level services?
Pues ahí no hay civil
Any
case.
civil
Anything
case.
that's under small claims that would be under, what is it,
Like credit cards,
50,000 or
credit
10,000?
companies that go and sue people that don't pay.
Ya digo, sí, como los credit cards y eso, which is fine.
But it's whoever's
They're
filing.
they're gonna pay for it, the company's gonna
Whoever's
pay.
filing.
Whoever files the case.
Okay.
No, we're, I was talking the way I was talking because I was thinking, and I'm glad you cleared it up, I was thinking that the tickets, the traffic tickets.
No,
Okay.
That's okay. All right.
it's just civil matter.
I have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Second, all in
Make
favor,
sure
please
that
aye.
it's deposited in the right place, okay?
All in favor, please, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 11, it's relating to the same thing, and this is for the county auditor to adopt procedures to accept specific fees collected and filed by the clerks for special account dedicated for the purpose of state law, House Bill 2875. This goes into a special account.
Okay, Mr. Gurley, you heard that?
Is there a motion to that?
It doesn't move. Second, that we need to put it, you're gonna put it in a special account.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's correct.
Oh, okay, está bueno.
All in favor, please, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 12 is to approve a resolution on BG 18 rifle, I guess this is the body armor for Mr. Escobar, our
I
DA.
move that we approve the resolution.
I second.
Moved in second, discussion. All in favor, please, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 13, an action item, and this is to approve a resolution in support of grant number 3453501, Sheriff's Office.
Is that the same one as,
It's the same one?
same one?
Okay.
Second.
Moved in second, discussion. All in favor, please, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 14 is an action item, and is to approve a request by the 229th Judicial District Attorney's Office to adopt education or peace officer certification stipend for investigators employed by his office.
It looks like it's not coming out from the budget, it's coming out from other funds, right?
That is correct, Commissioner. It's coming out from the forfeiture fund.
I was so moving on them.
I second.
Moved in second, discussion. All in favor, please, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 15, an action item for rating, to approve the rating sheet for Rio Delta Engineering as the highest score engineering firm for the Texas Community Block Grant 1718.
To score it, or this be scored or what?
They scored high.
They score high?
That's the score they
Okay, I
got.
just approve you, Honor.
Turn them over, turn them.
Moved in second, discussion. All in favor, please, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 16 is an action item to approve a contract between the county and Rio Delta for engineering services to prepare all preliminary and final design plans, specifications, and conduct necessary interim and final inspections for the CDBG grant 1718. Is there a motion to that?
I just approve you.
I second.
Moved in second. Discussion. All in favor, please, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 17 is an action item, and is to approve to assist in rental of equipment to the city of Roma for the November 7th special election.
I make motion to approve, to assist in rent of the rental equipment for the November election, Your Honor.
What special election is that, Joe?
City Council?
City council?
Yes, sir.
Moved in second, discussion.
Oh, yes, yes.
All in favor, please, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 20 through 32 are budget amendments. Mr. Carter, are they in order?
Judge, I have reviewed all of the proposed budget amendments. There are two that have minor difficulties. The county attorney's budget amendment is not signed. Other than that, it's okay. And then on the election administrators, election department budget, there's a topographical error, the net change to election administrative office budget should be 0. I'm sure it's just a topographical error with all the arithmetic matches. But I recommend that all these budget amendments be approved on the condition that these 2 errors get fixed.
Okay.
And I'll take care of them and make sure they're fixed.
Is there a motion?
Second, Your Honor.
Moved in second, discussion. All in favor, please, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, and that's all we have, gentlemen. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Second, Your Honor.
Moved in second, all in favor, please, aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Down by a day.